S. Chan presents Educational Video Lectures as per the new UGC curriculum. Difficult concepts made easy. Study anywhere, anytime.
Public finance, tax, legal actions, land policies, agricultural policies. ये टर्म्स हमने बहुत बार सुने हैं. What exactly are these? Hello everyone, welcome to S. Chand Academy. If you want to read the topics in detail, please refer to the book of S. Chand Publishing. The link for the ebook is given in the description box. We have known multiple terms and multiple economists around us who have actually made us realize that yes, economics is something or economics is a subject of interest. हमारी इकोनॉमी कैसे काम कर रही है, किस तरीके से सारी चीज़ें रेगुलेट हो रही है, क्या सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट का काम है? Is the government is only responsible for, finding out that how can these land policies or agricultural policies या सिंपल सी चीज़ें रेंट एग्रीमेंट ये सारी चीज़ें why the only government will be deciding on these? Even if the government is deciding or some institution or some body, legal body is deciding on these, then what is the base? ये base हमारे पास कहाँ से आया? क्या ये decide करने के लिए there are some people or there are some organizations? There are people who are institutions in themselves. Who are those? We'll be talking about some certain such people in this video and we'll try to understand that how we as an economy have grown and come this far. There are not only people who have worked relentlessly in India, there are people who have worked across the globe as economists. और economic concepts को develop करने के लिए mere finding out how the demand is working, how the supply is working, इन सारी चीज़ों के पीछे there are people who have worked, who have given their time to decide on that who will figure out कि कितना पॉलिसी किस चीज़ में जाना चाहिए, कितने टैक्सेस के लिए we as individuals are liable, as institutions are liable for how much taxes, what exactly, how this GST has been covered up. क्या ये GST एक simple taxation policy है या कोई economic force है which is deciding on these? So there are people who are working and those people have taken the ideas from their ancestral parts or their, super seniors who have come up with various ideas. So in this section, we'll talk about few such leading economists who were not just economists, but also great politicians, great leaders, and great people who actually made our country free from multiple atrocities. Let's talk about them one by one. So one of the famous economists of India whom we are going to talk about is Kautilya. Kautilya or Chanakya as he is famously known. We all are aware that who's Chanakya? Chanakya की simple books चाणक्य नीति के नाम से आती है. What is that? That is nothing but simple techniques, simple tricks to figure out that how the economy, not only the economy, but bare minimum politics, bare minimum leadership, they are interrelated. How the economy can be run in a much better way just by following simple tricks. That is what Chanakya's book was all about and Chanakya's policy was all about. Chanakya's book was famously known as Arthashastra or the science of material gain. This is a compilation of almost everything that had been written in India up to his time about Arth. अर्थशास्त्र हम इसे क्यों बोलते हैं? अर्थ इज मनी. सो अर्थ is leading to not only money. His book was the one which was the baseline for describing that economy is taking money as the base. No other policy, no other tricks or no other tips will work unless and until you understand that this money or the earth is working in a certain way. If we are to know that how the economy is working, we first of all need to know that how this flow of income or how the flow of entire economy, money supply, regulation of money are impacted by simple decision making by either the government or the policymakers. So he was born in a Brahmin family. Talking about the basics of his education, he took his education at Taxila, which is now in Pakistan, and he is known to have had a knowledge of medicine and astrology at the same time. It is believed that he was familiar with elements of Greek and Persian, so it is something which was very common in the earlier times, where it was not only a single person who was devoted to a single thing or a single speciality, they were multi-talented, and one such example is in front of us in the form of Chanakya, who was not only aware about just economics, but he was also aware about astrology and medicine. Now we will see that how he contributed to the Indian economy at large. क्या उसकी ऐसी policies थी या क्या ऐसे areas थे where Kautilya or Chanakya was famously into? He dwelled into them day and night, and wherever he worked, जहाँ भी वो जाते थे वो अपनी एक impact छोड़ के जाते थे because of the simple tips and tricks that he brought into the decision making. Kingdoms at that time benefited from his ideas. They were all into awe of him because of his contribution to wealth, agriculture and animal husbandry, varta, labor, trade. So how the trade is to work? Simple trade within the country, or maybe between two states, or maybe one different state. एक ही स्टेट में आप इंटरचेंज कर रहे हो, सिर्फ इतना ही ट्रेड नहीं होता. This was the concept given by Chanakya. Population, slavery, welfare state. Being from medicine also, he also emphasized on the fact that mere taking care of the population is not going to contribute to the country at large, but you have to take care of the population in such a way that they are also benefited by the medicines around them. So they are not impacted by multiple such things, which is making the country unhealthy. Public finance, one of his areas which was very much appreciated, and other than that, security, property, town planning, social justice were some other things that he focused on continuously. And that was something which was very much required at that time. Now we'll talk about another famous economist. Rather than economist, we'll call him a political leader who actually helped India to not only connect India into the political zone or political domain, but also he tried to interconnect politics and economics at the same time. So Gokhale was an Indian political leader and a social reformer. The moment you call someone a social reformer, you cannot disconnect him from the economy or the society, which works simultaneously. If you lose one, you will automatically lose the other. During the Indian independence movement, he was the kind of political mentors to many, and he was the mentor of Muhammad Ali Jinnah at that time as well. So Gokhale was a senior leader of Indian National Congress and the founder of Servants of Indian Society. Founder of Indian, or you can say the Servants of Indian Society in itself tells you that he has worked tremendously for the society at large. Working towards society made himself so much involved that he started capturing ideas of economy. He tried to make India flourish in such a way that the economic benefits could benefit the society at large, to the backward classes, and at the same time to those who were trying to create an impact in the society. Because at that time, India was not only lacking just freedom, but at the same time, they were lacking economic growth as well. Various other associations with Gokhale proved very fruitful for the country's economy and overall growth. And if we see, his tireless efforts resulted in toll tax cut. The most important aspect of the economic growth that he contributed was the toll tax cut, and also he requested the then government to limit land revenues, which was a major cause of India being, जिसको हम एक सोने की चिड़िया बोला जाता था. The most important thing why India was invaded, because of its rich richness, not only with aspect of just being called as sone ki chidiya, but we had, huge resources of spices. We had huge resources as far as the land, agriculture is concerned. और कहीं ना कहीं हमें इन्वेट करने का रीज़न ही यही था. So some people realize that इन चीज़ों को हमारे benefit में भी use करना ज़रूरी है. Land revenue was one thing which was collected from the people who were owning the lands or who were working there as mere farmers. और यही reason था that we were getting into a vicious cycle of poverty. Somehow people like Gokhale or Gopal Krishna Gokhale, he was the one who tried to take out India out of that kind of vicious circle of poverty. But at the same time, there were other people as well whom we'll be discussing later on. So D.R. Gadgil, again, one of those person who worked as an economist at the same time as a politician and contributed relentlessly to institution building. He was the vice chairman of Planning Commission, the most important part as far as till few years back when we talk about the economic aspect. Right now we know the Planning Commission as Niti Aayog. So Planning Commission was the one which was planning multiple things for the country's economy. It was planning about the country's growth. It was deciding about the 5-year plans which was initiated at that time for making short-term growths fruitful. Now the point is that 5-year plans we still have. And that was the one which was initiated and led by D.R. Gadgil, who was responsible for finding out that how these 5-year plans are going to make the economy more growth-oriented. क्योंकि हमारे 5-year plans were totally directed on one aspect at a time to take care of one particular plan for continuous 5 years. And that made the task quite, easy for the people to work as a part of the Planning Commission. And majorly, when what recognized his service was its contribution to the economy, Indian economy as an economic transition of the country was the decline of handicrafts. At that time, when handicrafts, which was one of our most important, you can say, power, जो हमारी country के लिए एक सबसे well-known fact था, that was somehow getting declined. But Gadgil was the one who brought this into the focus and he started making the handicrafts again grow. And that is how the entire population start realizing that yes, we can earn, we can grow through not only agriculture, but also handicrafts or handloom or some other art and craft, which could contribute not only economically to them, but beneficial for the entire country. So till now, we have learned about few economists who not only were the economists per se, but they were also political leaders, and they tried to combine those things in such a manner that brought the country into focus, and slowly and gradually we have come to a stage where we are self-reliant. So before going on to the short break, I will just try to say that we need to understand and learn about such economists further, and in the next section we'll talk about many such other economists in detail.
Now quality learning is easily available at your doorstep. S. Chand Academy brings detailed lectures based on UGC curriculum as per the New Education Policy 2020. So do not forget to subscribe to the S. Chand Academy and access the wide world of knowledge conveniently sitting within the comfort of your home. Stay connected and keep watching S. Chand Academy. Happy learning!
Welcome back to S. Chand Academy. Till now, we have learnt about few leading economists in the country. Now, we are going to learn more about such people who have done great in the field of economy and made us what we are today. Because as a country, we are leading. We are the third largest economy right now, and in the few years, we are going to surpass even Japan to get into a great society and economy. So let's just learn further about many such other people who have contributed greatly. Ram Manohar Lohia, one of again the Congress socialist who was selected by Jawaharlal Nehru as the Secretary of Foreign Department of the AICC. So Foreign Department ka secretary hona is in itself a responsible thing, a responsible task, because at that very moment you need to understand that how you are going to merge your own country's trade with another country's. Prior to 1947, we definitely were not independent. After that, even after starting our journey of independence till 1990, we were under a debt trap, a debt which was actually burdening our country day and night. After 1990, we got our new economic policy. So that policy was very important. How? When we had taken so much loans from IMF or World Bank, somehow or the other, we were a reserved country. We were doing trade within the country. But the only condition through which we could eradicate our debt was the clause that हमें अपना trade open करना है. हमारा trade open जो हुआ है वो है 1991 के बाद या 1991 onwards. The moment we started with the NEP, what happened? We have liberalization, privatization and globalization. The people who were responsible for these, one of them was Ram Manohar Lohia. So he started with the plan that how we are going to establish our own economy in such a way that post 1991 or post our own development, हम अपने ही ट्रेड को और ज़्यादा फ्लरिश कर सके. They had this plan initially, but जो fruitful हुआ, which actually fructified, was after the 1990. Now, what exactly was his contribution to Indian economy? He wanted economic equality and then exploitation. So, when we talk about economic equality, that in itself brings everything into one purview. That is what? Social equality. Somewhere or the other, there should not be any kind of discrimination. So, economic equality, till now we are struggling with that. There is a huge gap when we talk about the incomes. Poverty lines still exist. People below poverty still exist to a large number or to a huge number. But the only thing is, which is, a kind of fresh air, breath of fresh air, is that we are growing as an economy. The moment we start generating more and more employment, which we are doing, but still we are starting it in a fresh way, then again more people will be employed and somewhere or the other we will be out of that vicious circle of poverty completely. His another contribution was he wanted public ownership of large scale industries. Very important. When there is contribution or involvement of the public sector into some major large scale industries, there will be combination of private sector plus public sector together. Right now, the public sector is doing tremendous task in taking up decisions which are required for making the economy strong and make it grow. But how is this possible? This is possible only because the policy is laid down earlier. And he also wanted to reduce the limits which were imposed on income. So somewhere or the other, right now we are seeing that our economy is growing, the income levels are growing, the standards of living are growing. There is an environment where the startups are flourishing like anything. So the government is working at a very fast pace in order to get more and more opportunities in terms of foreign trade as well. But the foundation was laid down from there itself. Now we are going to talk about one such economist whom we as, during our growing years and even you as students in your growing years have heard a lot about. Who is he? He is none other than B.R. Ambedkar. So one of those persons who required no such introduction, because B.R. Ambedkar in himself is an institution. He was the one who worked for not only economic justice but also social justice. Right now, अगर हम बात करते हैं कि हमारी इकोनॉमी में ग्रोथ है, हमारी सोसाइटी में भी ग्रोथ है, सोसाइटी में एज इन देर आर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस हु आर गेटिंग इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज. किसकी वजह से? दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ B.R. Ambedkar. He was the one who drafted the constitution. He was the chairman of Constituent Assembly. Even after facing so many backlashes, even after facing so many challenges in his life, and he was the youngest amongst 14 siblings in his family, still he fulfilled his dreams of his studies. He fulfilled his dreams of making a bright career, and also he was the one who tried to make sure that social justice exists. तो सोसाइटी में अगर आप देखते हो इक्वालिटी एग्जिस्ट कर रही है, इकोनॉमी में देयर इज ग्रोथ, दैट इज बिकॉज आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज डेवलप्ड इन सच अ वे, आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज डिजाइन्ड इन सच अ वे where we could have the planning commission, which was renamed as Niti Aayog, and that could be taking possible decisions as a policy of maybe 5 years. Then there were interim decision of 1 year, 2 years. So these things were possible because of him. If I say what are his contributions, there are multiple such contributions, but his writings on monetary policy majorly, public finance, public expenditure, land holdings, they reveal that he worked relentlessly on making these things easily understood by the people. Policymakers today can take all such ideas from his writings of monetary work, from public finance, public expenditure. And he was the one who strongly argued for a national family planning and education to check the population growth. So he was of the opinion that the growth is only possible when there is a check on the national population. So there is still work going on this aspect, but the kind of mindset that he showed at that point of time, the kind of openness, the kind of growth, that is somehow laid the foundation for the growth and the kind of freedom that we are enjoying right now. So there are multiple such economists again, but due to the limitations of many such studies, we can have few of us in front of us, and you have learned about them. These are the people who are the leading economists, and we should know more about them. We should learn as much as we can from various parts, because somewhere or the other in our policy making or in our public finance, we'll get their reference at the same time. So I hope we are able to understand and learn about them. If you want to read the topics in detail, please refer to the book of S. Chand Publishing. The link for the ebook is given in the description box. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. And please don't forget to press the bell icon for further notifications.
All rights reserved. This video has been prepared for educational purposes only. No part of it may be reproduced or copied without the permission of the copyright holder.